inside the well, and that turns slowly with the well rate. And as it turns, it shoots water jets out 30 feet on each side, and it loosens up the manganese and the iron in the silica and draws it back up the well.
This particular truckload is headed to the University of Minnesota Mineral Research Lab in Coleraine, where Ingebrigtsen, head of the lab, is working to determine the best methods of processing the manganese for future use. Some of the shipments are also being transported to the Research Center in Nashwauk, Minnesota. The demonstration project is being done to help us learn important information that will help us determine the financial feasibility of extracting and processing manganese in this fashion. We are also taking this special step to show how the process will not harm the environment.
I think there's about 20 permits
Yeah, there's a number of them.
that we had to go through, and then of course report on all of those. It's quite a checklist, and you don't want to miss a beat.
Time frame.
Time frame was
Year and a half.
year and a half.
Under the non-ferrous rules, even though it's an iron deposit, we had to follow those rules because the rules weren't written clearly that how that should work. So
The ferrous rules need to be looked at in order to expedite things for us in the future.
yeah.
To be under non-ferrous permitting rules is a more difficult process,
Yeah.
and where this is actually,
It's an iron deposit with.
it's an iron deposit, so we should be under ferrous rules, but because those rules are not written very clearly, they made us go through the non-ferrous process. That's correct.
The DNR said because you're bringing up
Extracted the 80% of the water to return back to the ground. This took the really fine stuff and pressed it out and sent it up to the other. That took a little finer piece and separated.
Squeeze out that final moisture, and as it came off onto the conveyor belts, probably 80% material, 20% moisture.
So if you went into production, though, this would be a permanently...
It would be a similar piece of equipment, whether it would be that exact same one or not, I'm not
It's
sure.
about the same scale of fish.
Yes, scaling it would be real similar.
Doors on either end.
So the larger coarse rock that you didn't use, you just discarded into a tails pile? Or?
No, we wouldn't use that.
So you would do further crushing and grinding on all the material?
We
Water
also-
is the only substance you're using to extract it.
Correct.
No chemicals.
No. We also measured the lakes and monitored the area lakes. Is it 6 or 8? Area
6.
Lakes. 6 area lakes that we monitor.
They were afraid of traffic problems, things that we weren't even required to do, but that really helped to appease local people. That's a key to a project.
Every annual meeting you have, you give an update on what's going on, so it's been great.
The communication was key for us. Most people around Emily have a lot of manganese and iron in their water, and the filtration system takes care of that for them. But they were very interested in us volunteering to go. We'll sample your well and we'll let you know what you have. It also gave us a baseline so that somebody couldn't come back and say, look at what you did now. Now I have manganese in my water.
I'd say it would be end of the year, early next year. It depends on how quickly we get that analysis done of that material.
So barring, if it was instantaneous, your permits, you'd still be that far out.
Who's analyzing your core?
It's a lab in Canada. I can't remember.
Oh, I do know. It's Acme Labs. It's a
Labs.
commercial minerals, quality testing type lab that does assays for projects all over the world. And then Coleraine Minerals is doing quality checks on that, and they will also be doing further testing if it moves to commercial, as they move towards commercial scale.
Why folks want to drag their feet, I don't understand that. Other than they've gotten influences from outside that are very strong. And that'd be environmental influences. And we've got to do this, keep track of the environment. There isn't a soul around here that wants to ruin the environment. I mean, nowadays it just isn't going to happen. I mean, it just isn't. So, but the permitting process, when you hear 1 and 2 and 3 years, I mean, the non-ferrous mining up in the northeast part of the state, 5 years now, and millions of dollars have been spent and we haven't turned a kernel of sand yet. if you tell that just to the average folks in Minnesota, they'll go, "What? What's going on?" You know. So, but I know folks have a right to protect the environment, and if it's reasonable, and if it actually is going to do that, then we should be doing that. But I can't imagine why it should take 5 years. That's that example. This one here seems to be working quite well.